Hello, my name is Quanty27, but you can just call me, Quanty, I guess. I hope this all turns out right, so I don't have to re-record it, but like, I've got nothing else better to do. So today, I thought we would take a look at how I make my Animatics. Is that how you pronounce it? I have no idea. But, this isn't, I don't think this would be considered a tutorial since, something, well, I wouldn't consider it a tutorial since I'm not very good at explaining things, but here we are. I'm going to show you my process of making these. So right here I've pulled up my Come On Animatic, my storyboard. I'm just going to call it storyboard because I hate pronouncing things wrong. And I know without a doubt that I'll wind up pronouncing something wrong at some point, which I'm proud to say has got over 1,000 views, I think, which is kind of a big thing for me. I'm really proud of this one. And I'm just going to show you a little how I do it type of thing. And I use fairly simple programs. I use Moviemaker. Yes, Moviemaker, foreboding. You've got a present, Moviemaker. And I also use the program, the drawing program known as Firealpaca, which is a lot like Metabang Paint if you've ever used that. But I've always used Firealpaca despite having Metabang Paint always installed on my laptop. For some reason this program just called to me. So yeah, so obviously when you're making a storyboard, when I'm making a storyboard, I've got to pick a song. And this song that I picked was Come On by Panic at the Disco and Fun, I believe. And originally my first idea for this, that obviously when you're making something like this, you've got to have the picture in your head. That's how it works. You got to have the idea first. And the first idea I had was, I don't know if you're developing an OC, you kind of just play around with songs and assign stuff to it. That's not just a me thing. I know it's not just a me thing. But I originally pictured the song to an OC, which I've actually just picked up this OC again. It was kind of just a fan character. And I wanted this OC to be kind of, this whole thing to be kind of a dreamlike sequence. And at the time, it was going to be about this OC losing her twin brother and reaching out between universes. It was going to be this whole sort of thing. It was just playing in my brain. Because this song could be also considered a very platonic song, I think. I think a lot of love songs can also be platonic love songs. It's not that hard to imagine. But then I got the idea to do a Wrightworth Narumitsu. Narumitsu? Is that how you pronounce it? See, I'm already stepping out my bounds. We're just going to call it Wrightworth for now. Ace Attorney. Animatic. I said it again. Jeez. Quanty, get yourself together. So yeah, I got this idea. The butterfly came out of nowhere. The idea was that the butterfly was the guide for all of this. And as you guys can see, I have Moviemaker open, and with Moviemaker, it's the simplest program you can get. I've tried to look for free alternatives to Moviemaker, but it isn't actually that bad of a program once you get used to it. And essentially what you do, you drop in these photos, right? And you go here into Video Tools, you click on it, and you can select your duration. And as you can see, this lasts 1 second. And you can set this to 30 seconds even. Like this. And it's all about timing, and because of the fact that it is a little constricted like this, it's not that good of a program. But I've finagled it. I've watched plenty of tutorials myself, which I recommend doing. And this is the part where I get fumbled over my words. So once you've got your idea in mind, there's several things you can do. The first thing you can do is obviously get a notebook and do little snapshots of everything in your notebook, plan it all ahead, or you can be like me and recklessly jump into stuff, which I've done multiple times considering my most of the animatics that I've made in a very short amount of time at very unreasonable amounts of the morning. So that is something. But what you do first, what I do first, is open Firealpaca, and this is set to a neat little square. And I know this won't pop up because this isn't going to want to do this, but you're going to want to set it to a certain size. I think it's this one. I think it's 1280 by 720 pixels. I think this is what you want. The square that I've been using is for my Instagram posts, basically all my artwork. And the first thing you want to do is you want to go up here to View, and you should go down here to where it says Onion Skin Mode. Is this popping up? Has this... Gosh, I want to know... I'm having a time here. Is Firealpaca popping up? Ugh. Come on. Show me... I want to see Firealpaca. I'm sorry, I'm not. There we go. So you want to set it to 1280 by 720, I think. I think that's about where you want it. You want it to where it looks like a square like this. You can look up the exact dimensions online, obviously. Go to View, and it should pop up, and it should say Onion Skin Mode, which is basically to show each individual layer becomes kind of like a footnote if you have a DS. If you've ever had a DS, and you can see this is before, this is, see, it shows up different colors and all that. It's very fun, it's very simple. And after you're done with that, you can also pop up View. You can also hit autoplay, which pops up with a box that I know for a fact, I know for a fact that won't show up, and I really don't want to finagle and try to get all this. Just take my word for it, my mans, my dudes, my non-binary pals, let's go. And then you want to open up, it should say Export Layers Onion Skin Mode over here. When you click on File, will this show up? I have no idea. And then it'll export, and you should create a folder, and my folders are a mess. I'm not going to show you that because you should honestly not organize them the way I do. Alright, so we're back in this. We've dumped all of our photos in here. Timing, timing, timing is what we have to do next. And some things are going to be rough. And there's a big thing is that don't be afraid to reuse previous frames, because we lazy in this household. So if I pop this up, this frame and this frame are the exact same frame, and so are these two. this is the exact same frame as this one. I added the butterfly in, and this is a simple walking motion. It could be a little smoother. If it was a little slower, I think it would work better. Now for timing, so I'm going to set these. We're going to mess around. This is already uploaded. This has over 1,000 views. This is great. I get to mess around however the hell I want to. Like, I think if I set these to 0.50 seconds, I think that will look phenomenal. See, I like that. I like that a lot. But there are some changes I would make to this now after looking over it, but you've got to accept when to do this. Now, the biggest problem with this animatic that I was the most frustrated with is that, as far as I know, since the last thing with Firealpaca, is that when you click on the box that shows you the preview, it's white, and I did white backgrounds of the characters. I did all the white first, and then I went over with the black outlines. And I could not see how this turned out with just the white, which is kind of frustrating. So that's something I had to deal with. So I would recommend doing maybe an off-white instead of doing this pure white. Obviously, I mean, it looks very nice. It takes a way longer time than just drawing it out. And there's this thing I want to talk about, is that it's always going to look somewhat better at the beginning. Somewhere along the way, Phoenix loses his collar. I'm dealing fast and loose with sort of character designs. This is based on a concept art, which is the cutest thing ever. Old art. And again, it's storyboard, so play fast and loose. He doesn't necessarily need a hairline if it gets the point across. And with this is like my smoothest animation, but this is quick right here. But what you want, this drives the eye line, the line of motion. So I go up, 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 and then we zoom in, bam, it's over here. And then Phoenix is this little head roll to the, and then he's right on the drum beat, which is, this is the timing bit. As you can see, these are all 50 seconds, and it actually turned out pretty well. But like, yeah, there's that, there's eye. And I go down to the feet, and this is something I like to cheat, kind of, with moving. With these, you just go to, where is it? Animations, I think. No, stop. 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 Ah, it's over here. I'm dumb. Sorry. It's over here, right? And so I go back, I go forth, bam. This is the same frame with grass added. The butterflies are really simple. Up, down, up. These are the same butterfly, actually. Again, let's get to a part that I think, yes, I want to talk about. Sometimes, so right, these, if you think your motion isn't going to come up clear enough, adding this little just arrows to help direct your eye, that can be helpful. These are storyboards. This isn't necessarily a PMV or an actual animation. Play fast and loose. Again, this is one of my favorite tricks that I love seeing in animatics. It's where you do one, and you do this, and you slowly zoom out with each frame, and then you get to about a midpoint, and then bam. You don't even need any zoom in effects or zoom out effects, and then just a little motion here. It's not much. Like bam. And again, you get that motion with this arrow, helps do it. This could have been a little smoother, I will admit. I should have spent more time maybe doing this, making it more clear, because I feel like this is just a sudden jump into this. Like, maybe I should have done a little more mysticism up here, but I think you get the point with the pink glowy butterfly. So all your comments have been extraordinarily kind. I love hearing from you guys. And then I go here. This is, I remember being very, because this is exactly the original concept of this came to me. Just the original idea of making a storyboard to the song was this line of 10 feet tall and having someone like fall right here, and then which this was all really, all you have to do is take this, angle it down. I do a lot of this where you just take the same frame and we just change the position of it. One fun fact, if you just, I'm not sure if I can, hold on, you guys are gonna want to, if you're an Ace Attorney fan, you want to see this. Can I turn this upside down somehow? Ugh. Stop making noises. Well, if you turn your head, he looks like Apollo. Especially if you've seen the way I draw Apollo, they look very similar. Again, I feel like this sequence is very rushed. There's just very simple, blah blah blah, and then it's a white ball, and then this is probably one of the most fun parts of this, is a spinning sequence. So this is a unique frame, this is a unique frame, this is the same frame tilted, this is a unique frame, this is tilted, unique frame, it's like tilted, and then he lets go, and then it draws your eye, and this, where he tilts, is very smooth, and I love it. And these are like my two favorite frames, not necessarily because of the terrible edge work in the background, because Phoenix's face is just so happy. He's like, and then he skids to a halt, and then he looks back at Edgeworth, and Edgeworth's like, what the, like, he's like, huh? And Phoenix is like, and there's this. I should have spent more time on this. This should have been as good as everything else in here, but I got lazy, and I encourage you, if you have a sequence like this, don't. I'm obviously capable of it, but I didn't go the full mile. The full miles. Miles, I didn't go the full mile. Are you disappointed in me? No, you're a fictional character. You can't be disappointed in me. And this sequence got rushed. Should have maybe had the blush sooner, and then I could do this quicker. And this is what I hate. If you always have a project, you always have that one thing that you wish you could change, and it's this bit for me right here, because this is so nauseous inducing. So I think what I should have done, well, let's try and fix it. Let's set these to 1, because 1 is a good base point, because then you can mess with it. And this is a nice slow thing, but comparing that, let's just, if you remove these, you have with what you hate, and then spend more time on this, maybe. Spend more time on these, right here. And it still works, obviously. I could have just finagled it a little bit. And then bam, and then wait. Come on! And this, too. This running, Phoenix's is okay. He's just like, boop, boop, boop. Miles, he just looks like a dainty little, I don't know how to run type of thing, because I didn't do it right. He looks like he's about to do he's gonna cheer for someone, and he's like, yeah, what am I doing? Okay, so then we have this eye sequence where we add the only bits of color. I still don't know how I did this. I usually draw phoenixes with a left brown eye and a blue right eye, but for some reason I didn't. And then I have the attorney's badge pop up in his eye, and his eyes turn to gray, and he gets a little prosecutor's badge. And then we do this little trick again, where we bam, 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 just really quick. And then we have Phoenix, Miles' hand clutching his shirt, and this was also the thing I pictured with the original concept, with the original characters, was finally going across the universes, because in each universe they were twins, and in one universe one twin was dead, and in the other the one twin was dead, so like they were both missing each other. And they finally reached across, and they hugged each other, and they were physical, despite the fact the whole thing isn't real. This is the most real moment in this entire thing, because for the most part, with all of this, whenever they touch, even with this, they only touch for a moment's time. Like, for example, they grab each other here, and then they swing apart and let themselves go. And they almost touch here. Like, they never touch each other for so long, and then you get to this moment, and this moment is, they run across the field to each other, and then bam, hug, and we take a moment, quiet moment, and then we go, bam, big moment, but still this quiet little moment, with all these moments, and then we have this flowy thing, and it briefly pops to the future, with Phoenix as a lawyer, and Miles as Miles no longer is Bratworth choice, and then we pop back to the past, and then they draw away from each other, because this isn't actually happening. And to reinforce the fact, add the butterfly in again. And then this part again is ill-timed. This could have been timed better. This last bit is Phoenix is actually landing back, and then we go back up to his face, and he's looking at the newspaper again. He's aching over it. I don't know whether this is before or after the whole thing with Dahlia. Again, this is Fast and Loose. Rip News And then we see this guy in a trench coat, and he bumps into him. Sorry. Like, Which this is like great, because he's just... Phoenix, I like the concept of popping into someone that you're destined to be with. And you don't even realize it until years later. It'd be funny if Miles brought this up again. And he was like, you know, one time I popped into this dude, and he was looking at this newspaper of me, and I picked it up, because he dropped it. And I was like, well, right. It was funny, because the newspaper had a picture of me. He was reading an article about me. It was one of the most funniest things that ever happened to me. And Phoenix is like, what? That doesn't sound familiar at all. I don't know what you're talking about, Edgeworth. And then, to reinforce the whole butterfly messing with things, we have it pop over the page. And then, bam. This is... I wish your face looked better. I wish I'd let this butterfly stray longer. I have time enough to do it. Maybe like that. Okay. It's all just messing around with timing, really. See, that would have fit so much better. Jeez. Louise! And then I have this long end, and then it pops up. Thanks for watching. It's me. This is my Instagram, by the way. It's at Quanty dot, or period, I don't know, 27, Quanty dot 27. So if you want to ask me questions, fun fact, I draw ears now. It's fun, and it's very nice to know I've picked up tricks along the way. This is comparing the very first animatic I did was Aaron Burser from Hamilton, and it's terrible, but you can still watch it. It's still on my YouTube channel. And this was probably the second animac that I ever did. Was this one, was Blue Sky, Mr. Blue Sky. And this still has some neat tricks. It was my second ever animac. I shaded everything. It was not good still. Like this could have landed better on the beat. If I just added a second more. I don't know if I added another second more. I can add another second. It's all about these little timing things right here. There we go. Maybe I can even add another second. I don't know. This is one of my favorite parts, is this alarm thing, and the timing can be a little better. There's dull parts where it just sticks on. Like, sticking around on one frame is something you don't want to do for too long. Because look at this. This is just sticking on this one frame, and you're bored. Too bored. Time to overanalyze what's happening. And sometimes not enough detail. I'm going to refer to this. This isn't that bad, but then you get to the store part, not enough detail. Not like, but there are some cool things in here that I did. Arrows, like, again, use of arrows. You don't necessarily need the arrows, but oh yeah, I never talked about music. You can just add music here. Am I going on too long? I feel like I'm going on too long. Maybe I should end this video soon. Let's see if there's... I do have one thing, but I hope... Will Disney copyright me this? This is a little animatic I did in my spare time. It's not that big of a deal. Let me see if I can just, let me mute my desktop audio. Sorry about that, but this contains Moving Right Along from the Muppet movie. I don't want to, it's just some things. What was it that I wanted to show you? This. Like, this is like, they look lazy, they're in a car. I posted this to Facebook for my relatives. But I have some lip sync in here, and I should give it up. I should give it up. Closing this. So what I'm going to say is, that I don't have my tablet plugged in. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say thanks for watching. I have the most beautiful handwriting in the world. Anyway, my name is Quanty, 27, and thank you for being here for this lovely video that I've created, and hopefully you might have learned something. Possibly. I don't know. And if you want, you can also follow me on Instagram, Quanty.27. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Goodbye.